Listen carefully, because this message is not arriving by accident. Archangel Michael says there is a person you trust who has been keeping something from you, and the silence has not been random. It has weighed on the atmosphere around you for longer than you realized, creating those strange moments when your spirit felt uneasy, even though your mind could not prove why. You may have noticed small interruptions, half-finished answers, conversations that seemed to stop just before the truth could come through. Do not dismiss those details. Heaven has seen them all, and tonight what was hidden is beginning to stir beneath the surface. This is not a message to make you afraid. It is a message to prepare you. Stay with this, because the next revelation changes everything, and you do not want to miss the part where the veil begins to move. Type Amen if your spirit already knows this is for you. There are moments when trust becomes the very place where testing enters. Not because you were foolish, but because your heart was open. You believed the words, the promises, the familiar tone, the history shared between you and this person. Yet something has not felt fully right. Maybe it was the way they changed the subject when certain names were mentioned. Maybe it was the pause before they answered. Maybe it was the careful way they smiled while leaving out one detail that mattered more than all the rest. And because you value peace, you may have told yourself not to overthink it. But there is another truth being revealed now. Your discernment was not imagining things. You have been sensing a sealed room in the spirit, a place in this relationship where information was locked away. Do not ignore this part. Before long, the key turns. What this person kept from you may not be a single dramatic confession at first. Sometimes hidden truth arrives like a slow dawn, not a sudden lightning strike. A sentence repeats. A name resurfaces. A message appears at the exact time your heart was already unsettled. Then suddenly the pattern becomes undeniable. Heaven is allowing you to see the outline before the full picture, so that when the truth arrives, you do not collapse under shock. There was protection in the delay, even if the delay hurt. There was also a reason your spirit kept returning to that one memory, that one conversation, that one moment when something in their eyes said more than their mouth did. Keep reading carefully, because what seemed like a small omission is connected to a larger decision that has already been made behind the scenes. Comment God is working if you believe nothing is hidden from Him. You may be asking whether this hidden thing was meant to protect you or harm you, and that is exactly where discernment must rise. Not every concealed thing is rooted in evil, but not every silence is innocent either. Some people hide because they are afraid of losing you. Some hide because they fear what exposure will cost them. Some hide because they still do not know how to tell the truth without shattering the image they built. Yet there are also situations where concealment becomes a covering for manipulation, and heaven will not leave you blind forever. This is why the atmosphere around you has felt so charged. There is more happening than you realize. A conversation has already taken place that you were not invited into, and one sentence from that conversation will soon reach your ears through unexpected means. Stay alert, the coming days will reveal what vague answers could not hold back forever. Type 1 believe if you are ready to see clearly. Archangel Michael says to stop blaming yourself for sensing the distance. You were not too sensitive. You are being spiritually alerted. The ache you carried was not just emotional exhaustion. It was the weight of an unanswered question pressing against your peace. That question has lived quietly in your mind. Why did they not tell me? And behind that question there is an even deeper one. What else have I not been told? Heaven knows how these thoughts have followed you into quiet places, into the late hours, into the moments when you were trying to pray, but could only sigh. Yet even there God was collecting the fragments. Every overlooked detail, every strange interruption, every uneasy impression has been recorded. There is a heavenly record of what was said and what was withheld. Do not let the delay convince you that the truth is absent. The truth has only been waiting for its appointed hour. Type protected if your heart needs that reminder today. Something specific is approaching, and it is tied to a name, a decision, or a message you did not expect to matter so much. Watch for a return of a conversation you thought was finished. Watch for a message that arrives with unusual timing, perhaps even in a casual tone that hides a much deeper issue. Watch for someone to mention a detail by mistake, only to quickly correct themselves. Heaven often exposes hidden things through tiny cracks before it opens the whole door. The person you trust may suddenly become quieter, more careful, or strangely eager to redirect your attention. That shift is important. It means pressure is building, and what has been kept in the dark cannot stay there much longer. There is another truth being revealed. What they withheld has consequences, and those consequences may affect an opportunity, a relationship, or a family matter. Comment ready if you sense the atmosphere changing. Do not skip over the spiritual reason this is happening. Hidden information is often attached to a season change. When God prepares to move you forward, He also exposes what could have sabotaged your next step. Sometimes the withheld truth is connected to a closed door that you kept trying to open. Sometimes it explains why a promise stalled. Sometimes it reveals why a person's support seemed inconsistent. There may have been a blessing on the other side of a conversation that never happened because someone chose silence. But hear this: silence does not cancel destiny. It only delays the unveiling, and the delay itself has been showing you who can withstand truth and who cannot. A shift is approaching, and with it comes the moment when pretending becomes impossible. Stay until the end, because the way this is revealed will tell you everything you need to know about what happens next. Type faith if you are holding on, even while questions remain. Before we continue, I feel led to share something with you. Over the years, thousands of people have reached out asking for powerful prayers they could pray during difficult seasons of life. That's why I put together a collection of some of the most powerful faith-building prayers I know. These prayers have helped people find peace during anxiety, strength during hardship, and hope when they felt like giving up. The best part is that I decided to make it completely free. If you would like a copy, simply check the link in the description and I'll send it to you. Do not wait until another difficult season arrives. Take it now while it's available and keep it close for the days ahead. Now there is something else you need to know. There is also a hidden emotional layer beneath this revelation. The one you trusted may not be keeping something from you out of cruelty alone. They may be carrying fear, shame, guilt, or regret. That does not excuse the concealment, but it does explain the tension. Some people go silent because they are trapped in their own weakness, and others go silent because they are trying to control how the truth lands. Heaven is sorting the difference now. You will begin to notice whether their eyes avoid yours, whether their words become overly polished, whether their explanations feel rehearsed. The truth has a sound. It trembles when spoken through fear, but it also carries a certain weight when it has been held too long. Keep watching. Keep listening. The next revelation may come through a moment that seems ordinary, but it will not be ordinary at all. It will be the beginning of clarity. Type yes, Lord, if you trust Him to expose what needs exposing. There is another piece of this puzzle that you have not considered fully. The hidden thing may involve someone else entirely, a third person whose name you have heard before, but never connected to the larger issue. It could be a family matter that was never fully explained, a delayed opportunity that quietly shifted hands, or a conversation that changed the trajectory of something you cared about. You have been standing near a door that was almost opened, but not quite, and now heaven is showing you why. The person you trusted may have had access to information that should have reached you sooner. Whether they withheld it to protect you or protect themselves, the result has been the same. You were left navigating partial light. But partial light is not the same as darkness. That means you are not lost. You are being led toward a fuller view. Comment still standing if you have survived seasons of confusion and kept your heart soft. I need you to understand this with all seriousness. The revelation is not coming merely to stir emotion. It is coming to restore authority. When hidden things are exposed, you are no longer forced to build your choices on guesses. You are given solid ground again. You can move without constantly second-guessing the atmosphere. You can pray without wondering what you missed. You can decide without being chained to uncertainty. Heaven is making room for truth because truth is the doorway to peace. But there is something else you need to know. The unveiling may initially wound before it heals. That is why Archangel Michael's presence is felt here so strongly. He comes where there is spiritual conflict, where confusion has tried to settle, where deception has wrapped itself around a relationship or decision. His message is not to panic. His message is to stand. The sword is not for fear, it is for clarity. Type 333 if you feel this is a moment of divine alignment. You may soon notice a strange sense that the person who kept something back is becoming increasingly unable to maintain the same energy. They might avoid direct eye contact. They might speak in circles. They might begin to over-explain details that no one asked for, because pressure is building around what they cannot hold anymore. This is often how hidden truth breaks open, not always with a dramatic confession, but with an unraveling. A thread loosens. Another detail slips out, a contradiction appears. Then one little line exposes the whole structure, and once that happens, the emotional power of the concealment begins to collapse. What has been sealed in a quiet room will soon be lit by a lamp. Keep reading, because the light does not only reveal their actions, it also reveals your response. You are about to see how much grace you still carry, even after disappointment. Comment "I trust God" if you are choosing peace over panic. There is a prophetic clue sitting in the background of this message. An old connection is returning, but not in the same form it left. Someone from the past or someone tied to the hidden issue may reappear with a softened tone, a changed posture, or an urgent need to clarify what once remained unclear. Pay attention to that return. Not every returning voice is safe, but not every return is dangerous either. Heaven is allowing some people to circle back so that truth can be finished properly. Yet even then, you must remain discerning. The revelation is not only about what they say, it is about what your spirit feels while they say it. Peace will identify what words cannot, and if your peace does not return, then the message is not yet complete. Something unexpected is approaching, and it will force a decision about whether this relationship can continue in honesty or whether a chapter must close. Type "blessed" if you are ready for truth and healing together. By now you may be feeling the emotional pressure of it all, and that is understandable. Trust wounds are not small wounds. They affect how you interpret tone, timing, gestures, and silence itself. They make you wonder whether you should have noticed sooner, whether you should have asked more questions, whether you should have guarded your heart more carefully. But hear heaven saying this: do not let guilt mislead you into self-accusation. The issue was not your lack of love, the issue was their lack of openness. And now that the hidden thing is moving toward the surface, you do not need to beg for scraps of truth. You need wisdom. You need calm. You need to remain in the light long enough to see clearly. The next conversation may feel loaded, but it will also be liberating. Before long, what was vague becomes specific. What was confusing becomes obvious. Type 1 receive if you are receiving clarity over confusion. There is more happening in the unseen realm than you realize. Heaven is not only exposing the hidden thing, heaven is also protecting you from the way it could have been used against you if revealed too late. There is a reason the timing matters. If you have learned everything too early, you might have reacted out of pain instead of discernment. If you had learned it too late, the impact could have shaped choices that were never meant for you. So the revelation has been held until you could carry it with a steadier heart. That does not mean the process is painless. It means it is intentional. The sealed letter is arriving at the exact hour when your spirit is ready to read it without being destroyed by it. Do not leave now. The door is opening. Comment ready if you sense that your season of partial answers is ending. Many people watching this message have been carrying burdens they never talk about. If that sounds like you, I want to give you something special. I created a free prayer guide filled with powerful prayers for protection, breakthrough, peace, healing, and strength. Thousands of believers have already downloaded it and shared how much it encouraged them during difficult moments. There is absolutely no cost. I simply wanted to place this resource into the hands of people who need it most. If you feel led, go to the description and claim your free copy before continuing. One prayer prayed at the right moment can change more than you realize. Now listen carefully, because the next part of this message is important. Something else is being exposed too, the difference between what was promised and what was actually intended. This matters because a trusted person may have spoken to you in a way that implied certainty, while quietly knowing the situation was shifting. Perhaps they encouraged your hope while withholding the part that would have changed your expectations. Perhaps they told you soon while already knowing that another path had been chosen. That can feel like betrayal, and heaven is not minimizing that. But the Lord is showing you how to distinguish emotional attachment from spiritual truth. Not every familiar voice is a faithful voice. Not every comforting statement is complete. And yet, even here, God is not absent. He is using this exposure to reroute you toward what is real. A breakthrough is approaching, but first, the false certainty must fall. Type 777 if you are believing for divine order. The veil is thinning now. You may begin to remember moments that once seemed too small to matter. The slightly delayed reply, the way they seemed to know more than they admitted, the conversation they ended too quickly, the strange feeling you had after leaving their presence, as if something in the room had changed but no one named it. These details are not random. They are part of the pattern heaven has been showing you, and now the pattern is becoming a picture. The picture may include disappointment, yes, but also mercy. Because if God is exposing this, He is also giving you the dignity of truth. You were never meant to keep building your peace on a foundation of hidden information. You deserve light. You deserve honesty. You deserve the kind of clarity that does not leave you guessing at every turn. Stay focused. The revelation is not far now. Type chosen if you know heaven did not overlook you in this season. And now I must tell you something tender but important. The hidden thing may reveal not only what was said, but what was felt and never confessed. This makes the situation more complicated, not less real. You may discover that this person was carrying an internal battle while acting as if everything was fine. You may discover they were trying to manage consequences they did not know how to explain. That will not erase the hurt, but it will explain the shape of it. Heaven is allowing compassion and discernment to walk together. That means you will not have to become bitter to be wise. You will not have to become cold to be clear. The truth is coming, and with it comes the power to choose your response, not just react to theirs. Comment "My time is coming" if you believe restoration can still happen. There is a sentence that may soon find its way to you, and when it does, do not rush past it. It will seem simple on the surface, but it will carry the weight of everything that was withheld. It may come from a text, a phone call, a family conversation, or a private moment when the truth can no longer be avoided. When you hear it, something in your spirit will click into place. A closed loop will close. A strange burden will lift. Not everything will be solved instantly, but the central mystery will finally have a name, and naming it matters. Because once the truth has a name, fear loses some of its power. Heaven is leading you from suspicion into discernment, from waiting into clarity, from confusion into a stronger kind of peace. Do not minimize this moment when it comes. It has been awaited for far longer than anyone admitted. Type 1 believe if you are ready for the unveiling. Archangel Michael says the enemy has been trying to use secrecy to keep you emotionally disoriented. That is why the delay felt heavier than it should have. That is why you found yourself replaying the same exchanges, searching for the missing piece, trying to understand a tone you could not quite define. Confusion is exhausting, and exhaustion can make even strong people question themselves. But the sword of truth is cutting through that cloud now. Not all at once, because heaven is wise, but enough for you to begin breathing differently. Enough for you to stop handing your peace to uncertainty. Enough for you to prepare for a fuller conversation, a more honest exchange, or a necessary boundary. The revelation is not here to crush you. It is here to free you. Type "Yes, Lord," if you are ready to be freed from what has been hidden. As this season moves toward its turning point, watch for a moment of unusual stillness before the truth lands. There will often be a pause before exposure, almost as if heaven itself is drawing a breath. That pause is not emptiness. It is the final gathering of details before release. In that quiet, you may feel both nervous and strangely peaceful. That is because your spirit already knows change is near. A door is beginning to move. A sealed room is being approached. A hidden page is being turned. And once it turns, you will see why certain things could not be forced earlier. There was a timing issue, a mercy issue, and a protection issue all woven together. The Lord has been preserving your heart while preparing your eyes. Comment "protected" if you are grateful that God guards both truth and timing. Now I am bringing this message toward its closing, but before I do, hear the heart of heaven clearly. What was kept from you does not have the final word over you. The silence does not define your future. The withheld detail does not cancel your promise. The relationship, the decision, the family matter, the opportunity, the emotional wound, none of these outrank the authority of God over your life. You are not trapped in someone else's secrecy. You are being brought into light, and light always changes the room. Some things will be repaired. Some things will be revealed and then released. Some things will require a new boundary, a new conversation, or a new path. But none of it will be wasted. What hurt you will also sharpen you. What confused you will teach you discernment. What shook your trust will teach you where trust belongs. And what seemed delayed is actually being aligned. Type 333 if you are stepping into alignment. So stay calm, stay prayerful, and do not rush the unfolding. The truth is coming at the appointed hour. It may arrive through a conversation you were not expecting, a detail that finally matches the pattern, or a confession that lands with both pain and relief. When it comes, do not let shock silence your wisdom. Breathe, listen, ask the Holy Spirit for clarity, and remember that heaven never exposes to destroy unless destruction is necessary for rescue. Most often, exposure is mercy. It is the moment the locked door finally opens and the hidden room is no longer dark. You have been chosen to see clearly now, not later. The veil is lifting, the sealed letter is on its way, and the next revelation will bring both closure and direction. Comment "still standing" if you are ready to walk forward in truth, in peace, and in the light God has prepared for you. Before you leave, remember that my free prayer collection is waiting for you in the description below. Thousands of people have already downloaded it and used these prayers during seasons of anxiety, uncertainty, spiritual battles, and breakthrough. I made it completely free because I want every believer to have access to powerful prayers when they need them most. If this message encouraged you today, make sure you claim your free copy before you go. And if this message spoke to your heart, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you in faith. May God bless you, strengthen you, and guide every step ahead.